My name is David. I've been working the night shift at the community pool for the past 3 years. It's a job that most people would find monotonous, but I've always found a certain peace in the quiet solitude of the night. The stillness of the pool, the hum of the fluorescent lights, and the occasional rustle of leaves outside the windows have become familiar companions in my nightly routine. I work the night shift at the community pool. It's boring. Usually it's pretty quiet. Tonight felt different though. The air was heavy. There was an unusual tension in the atmosphere, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. The pool, usually a place of calm, seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something to happen. It was still, too still. The water, which normally had a gentle ripple from the ventilation system, was eerily motionless. It was as if time itself had paused, leaving the pool in a state of suspended animation. I walked around the pool. I checked the gate. It was locked. I made my rounds, as I always did, ensuring that everything was secure. The gate, the doors, the windows, all were locked tight. There was no sign of any disturbance, yet the feeling of unease persisted. I checked the bathrooms and the showers. The dim lighting cast long shadows, making the empty stalls and showers look even more desolate. I half expected to find someone hiding, but there was no one. Just the echo of my footsteps and the distant hum of the lights. Nobody was there. Good. I felt a small sense of relief, but it was fleeting. The silence was oppressive, pressing down on me like a weight. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, even though I knew it was impossible. I sat down and started reading my book. It was a novel I had been meaning to finish, a story about a detective solving a mystery in a small town. But tonight I couldn't focus. The words blurred together, and I found myself reading the same sentence over and over. The only sounds were the buzzing fluorescent lights. They flickered occasionally, casting an eerie glow over the room. The sound was usually a background noise I barely noticed, but tonight it seemed louder, more insistent, like a warning. The water in the pool was still. It was unnaturally calm, reflecting the dim lights like a mirror. I couldn't help but feel that something was lurking just beneath the surface, hidden in the depths. It looked like a sheet of glass. The moonlight streaming through the windows added to the surreal atmosphere, making the water appear almost otherworldly. It was beautiful in a haunting way, but it also made me feel uneasy. I tried to focus on my book, I really did, but the feeling of being watched, the sense that something was not right, kept pulling my attention away. I glanced around the room, half expecting to see a shadow move or a figure appear. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It was as if the night itself was alive, watching me, waiting for the right moment to reveal its secrets. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves, but the sense of dread only grew stronger. What was it about tonight that felt so different? I couldn't answer that question, but I knew one thing for sure. This was not just any other night. Hours passed. The night seemed endless, each tick of the clock echoing in the vast emptiness. The pool, usually bustling with activity, now lay still and silent, a ghost of its former self. The shadows danced on the walls, creating eerie shapes that seemed to move with a life of their own. I got up and stretched. My muscles were stiff from sitting too long, and the dim light made everything feel surreal. The room was cold, and the silence was almost deafening. I could hear my own breathing, slow and steady, as I tried to shake off the unease that had settled over me. I walked over to the pool. Each step echoed in the empty space, the sound bouncing off the walls and returning to me in a distorted form. The water was dark, almost black, and the faint reflection of my figure seemed to waver as if it were alive. I stared into the water. The surface was so still, it was like looking into a mirror. But the reflection looking back at me seemed off. It was as if the water held secrets dark and deep that it was reluctant to reveal. My own eyes reflected back at me seemed to hold a question I couldn't answer. The reflection looking back at me seemed off. I shook my head, trying to clear the fog that had settled in my mind. Was it just my imagination? Or was there something truly wrong with the image in the water? I couldn't tell, and the uncertainty gnawed at me. Just tired, I mumbled to myself. I sat back down, feeling the weight of the night pressing down on me. The bench was cold and hard, and I could feel the chill seeping into my bones. I closed my eyes for a moment, hoping to find some comfort in the darkness. I tried to ignore the feeling in my gut. Something was wrong. I could feel it. The anxiety was like a knot in my stomach, tightening with each passing second. My mind raced with thoughts, each one more unsettling than the last. What was it that was making me feel this way? The silence was starting to get to me. It was so complete, so absolute, that it felt like a physical presence, I could almost hear it, a low hum that seemed to vibrate through the air. The pool, once a place of joy and laughter, now felt like a tomb. The empty bleachers seemed to loom over me. They were like silent sentinels, watching, waiting. The rows of seats, usually filled with cheering spectators, were now just empty shells, adding to the sense of desolation. It was as if the very soul of the place had been stripped away. It was like something was watching me from the shadows. I kept hearing things, little noises. They sounded like whispers, faint, almost imperceptible, but there. I strained to listen, trying to make out the words, but they eluded me. The feeling of being watched grew stronger, and I couldn't shake the sense of dread that had settled over me. The shadows seemed to move, to shift as if they were alive. I felt a chill run down my spine, and I knew that I wasn't alone. Something was there, lurking in the darkness, waiting, and I was powerless to stop it. I told myself it was just the wind. The old building creaked and groaned. It was probably just rats. It had to be rats, right? I kept hearing the noises though. They were getting closer. I slowly got up from my chair. I grabbed my flashlight. I walked around the pool again. I checked every corner. There was nothing there. But the noises continued. They seemed to be coming from the water. I aimed my flashlight at the deep end. The beam danced across the water. Wait, what was that? I saw something move. Something was in the water with me. I froze. My heart pounded in my chest. I held my breath. I stared into the darkness. Was I going crazy? There it was again. A ripple spread across the surface. Something was definitely down there. It was watching me. I could feel its eyes on me. Section 5. The Unseen Observer. Fear pulsed through me. I knew I had to get out of there, now. But my feet felt glued to the spot. I slowly backed away from the pool's edge. My eyes never left the shadowy figure. What did it want? I could feel its presence growing stronger. The air felt thick and heavy. I could barely breathe. I knew I was in danger. Section 6. The Screaming Shadow. Suddenly the figure shot out of the water. It let out a deafening shriek. I jumped back, my heart racing. It hovered in midair for a moment. Long, dripping claws reached towards me. Its eyes glowed an eerie red in the darkness. Terror lent me speed. I ran. I ran faster than I ever had before. The creature's screams echoed behind me. Section 7. Face to Face. I didn't dare look back. I could hear the creature's ragged breathing. It was getting closer. I slammed into the locked door. I rattled the handle. It wouldn't budge. I was trapped. I spun around to face my pursuer. Its claws dripped with an oily goo. Its eyes burned with hatred. I braced myself for the final attack. Section 8. No escape. The creature lunged. I closed my eyes and waited for the end, but it never came. I slowly opened my eyes. The creature was gone. I was alone. Had I imagined the whole thing? No. It was real. I had seen it. And it would be back. I knew it. Section 9. Trapped. I had to get out. I scanned the area for an escape. That's when I saw it. A vent. It was small, but it was my only chance. I kicked the vent cover in. I squeezed through the opening. I crawled through the darkness. The air was thick with dust and the smell of mildew. It was suffocating, but I pushed on. Section 10. A Gurgling Whisper. Finally I saw a light. I scrambled towards it. I kicked the vent cover out and fell to the ground. I was free. I lay there for a moment, catching my breath. I could hear the creature moving around outside. It was searching for me. Then I heard it, a low, gurgling whisper. It seemed to be coming from the vent. It was close. Too close. Section 11. Gone. The night was thick with an unsettling silence, the kind that makes your skin crawl and your heart race. The pool, once a place of laughter and joy, now stood as a haunting reminder of what had transpired. I scrambled to my feet and ran. My breath came in ragged gasps, each step echoing the pounding of my heart. The darkness seemed to close in around me, every shadow a potential threat. I could feel the cold sweat trickling down my back, my mind days.